Wasted a lot of good footage right
Yeah, we weren't even recording. Could have totally used
there. Yeah.
that. It's all good though, man. It's all right. Don't worry about it. Let's get right into it, ladies and gentlemen. If you don't know, this is Nerds of the Round Table. I am, of course, your host Antonio Padilla. Joining me is my right hand man for today. He is my go-to. He's the mastermind, our editor, my most of the time co-host, Mr. Swag Taft. Swag, say what's up.
Hello, disembodied voice this time.
Bodied voice once again, and it's all good. So luckily, y'all lovely people get to enjoy this. So drink it all in.
Hey, at least they can see like all your shelves and everything behind you. Got a good view of that.
Look at all the merch. Look at this.
There's the league. Yeah.
Yep. But yeah, Cliff, you might notice, is not here. He was having some technical difficulties and just couldn't make it. But that's okay. You know, we wish, hopefully we'll have that figured out and he'll be back sooner rather than later. But yeah, there it is. There, nothing, just bad luck, But yeah, so let's get into it. Swag, we are recording on September 3rd, 2021. It is of course a Friday, so everyone keep that in mind depending on when you're watching or listening to this episode. Let's start, man. We're going to do something a little bit different since we have not a lot to talk about today. Light news week. We do have some dope stories though. But let's start with something that we saw this week, Swag. And I am, of course, talking about this movie right here. Mortal Kombat Legends, Battle of the Realms. I don't know if y'all can see that clearly. There it is. Yeah, so this came out on Blu-ray and DVD, 4K. It was available on digital a couple weeks early, but I'm a physical media guy, so I always like to wait for a physical copy to get my hands on. And now, if you remember, was this before we started doing a video podcast last year, Swag? When Scorpion's Revenge came?
I think we were doing video around that time.
Yeah, I think you're right. So longtime viewers and listeners will probably remember when the first in this series of direct-to-video animated movies, Mortal Kombat Legends: Scorpion's Revenge, came out last year in 2020. We gushed about that movie like it blew us away. We were huge fans. I know Cliff was a huge fan of it and still is. He named it on his best of 2020.
Yeah.
Hopefully so. I'm not going to say that was wrong. That's a solid choice. And so, and we knew this one was coming for a while now. I mean, I even said after Scorpion's Revenge, I was like, there's no way we don't get another. You know what I mean? Like, there's just no way. Like, they've got to at least have another one. And yeah, so, it was announced early this year and we've been waiting for it ever since. But it is here nonetheless. So Swag and I are going to talk about it. Bear in mind, if you have not seen the film or Scorpion's Revenge yet, we are going to talk spoilers. So if you haven't seen either of them, you might want to get out of here, come back later, or you can skip ahead to when we're done talking about it. But yeah, Swag, what do you think of this movie, man?
Oh yeah, I enjoyed it. Like right off the bat, it was like getting back into that world again is just so fun because it's such an interesting universe and all the stories are really engaging. And so kind of getting to look at Liu Kang's story more and like his origin, at least in this universe, was nice. Like I liked that. But yeah, like again, like just even getting more of like X-rays and like the brutal, like bloody, like everything, the action in this, like it's exactly what we loved from the first one, but brought back and like there's more of it in this one and like a lot more brutal somehow.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's like if you enjoyed like how bloody and violent Scorpion's Revenge was, like this does not disappoint. because it's just as bloody, just as violent, if not more, like you were saying.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I agree, man. It was great to get back here to this, because like obviously since Scorpion's Revenge came out, we had the latest live action movie, and we talked about that movie as well. We enjoyed it, but I don't know. There's something about these animated movies, and again, like I don't know if it's because they can get away with more or what, them being animated movies, and they just are afforded the ability and the luxury to do more things that maybe a live action movie on a relatively small budget just can't.
Yeah.
But I think I've enjoyed these more than I did the latest movie. And again, like I still really like that movie. But yeah, and considering this is the second one we've gotten, and it's like, Scorpion and Sub-Zero and Liu Kang and Raiden and Johnny Cage and Sonya Blade, and the endless amount of other characters that are in these animated movies that sometimes you don't expect to see, and then they just show up out of nowhere. It's pretty cool. So yeah, I really liked this movie. I really enjoyed it. I thought it was great fun. There were plenty of moments that made me kind of, pull back a little bit, like especially in relation to some of the violence and the gore. And then there were moments where I legitimately, my jaw hit the floor because I was just like, oh my God, like what?
Yeah.
But yeah, man. So what were some of your favorite moments from the movie?
I think like Scorpion's whole thing. Like I think the ninja conflict I think was one of my favorites. Cause even like it was that thing of like Sub-Zero, the the new one, Kwai Liang, like wanting to get revenge for his brother's death and kind of chasing that, but also seeing that whoever's in charge of the clan like taking these really horrible like decisions and measures to kind of complete this job and like not agreeing with it was really interesting, and I enjoyed that.
Yeah, I think that was probably my favorite part of the movie as well. I mean, and maybe I'm biased because Scorpion's my favorite character, but yeah, I really enjoyed the conflict between like Scorpion and the new Sub-Zero, and also just a lot of the growth that both of them go through.
Yeah,
was really great to watch, and again, like even just getting to watch them throw down with each other.
Yeah.
And grow, throughout that journey was pretty cool. Yeah, I agree. I feel like that, and that wasn't even the A plot. That was sort of the B plot.
Yeah.
It was, and nothing against the A plot. It was great. I liked getting to see the fights, the tournament. Again, another tournament.
Yeah.
But the one thing I was thinking about the most after I saw the movie, and I don't know if you had the same feeling or not. We didn't really talk about it. There's again, we're going to spoil some things here. So during the tournament, certain characters die who, you don't necessarily want to die and you don't even necessarily expect to die. Yeah. And they did a really good job in handling that, in setting a tone and I guess anticipation that you kind of, at least for me, it was like when certain people died, I was like, well, anybody can die now. Like, I don't know who's going to make it out of this life. Like, I was like, I don't know if anyone's safe now. Like, it was genuine. And I legitimately was on the edge of my seat because I didn't know who was going to make it out alive or not.
Yeah. I think like the moment that did that for me was Raiden. Like when Raiden died, I was like, wait a minute, what?
For me, that was the one. Like, because okay, again, we're gonna spoil it. So, and I even said this to you. I was like, I swear, if they kill my boy Kung Lao again, I'm so mad. And he died, and I was like, I was upset and I was angry. And then Raiden dies, and I was like, it was those two back to back where I was like, well, who's gonna, like, if they died, who's gonna make it out of this thing alive?
Yeah.
Like, I don't know, and there's a moment where it looked like Sonya was about to bite it, and I was like,
exactly.
wow.
Yeah.
And, luckily she didn't,
Yeah.
but, it was like they did it so well with the 1-2 punch. Well, actually, it was a 3 punch. We didn't even talk about who else bit it, but it was like the 3 punch death, and then Sonya goes in, and it looks like she's gonna die, and I was legitimately like, oh no. Like, I was like, oh, not good. So yeah, man, this movie did a really good job of like keeping at least for me, it kept me on my toes. Like, again, like I didn't know who was gonna make it. Honestly, I was like, well, no one's safe now. Like,
yeah, exactly.
so yeah, and I think it did, again, not that I didn't like the latest live action movie, I really did, but I think this movie handled that better in creating an atmosphere where the audience doesn't know who's going to live or die,
Yeah.
And that's really hard to do. That's really hard to do. So my hat goes off to the filmmakers here. But yeah, it was crazy. But yeah, what else, man? What else about this movie? Like, what did you like? What? Yeah, like what else? What did you like about the movie? Or
Joel McHale as Johnny Cage. Like me and you were talking like right after we saw it, like we were just talking, go back and forth on it. Like, yeah, I need like, and I even said, I brought it up to you, and I want to bring it on the podcast. Like, we need to get Joel McHale as Johnny Cage in live action too.
Live action, yeah, in the sequel to this year's live action film. Yeah, because you said that, and I was like, because ladies and gentlemen, again, one of the great things about getting a physical copy here are like the bonus features, right? And there's tons of behind the scenes stuff with Joel McHale and him improvising the character of Johnny Cage. And it's like, yeah, like you see how much of that character, again, it's animated, but he went into the booth and kind of improvised a lot of stuff, and they kept it and then animated those things. Because he nailed it, and it's like, yeah, sure, he's a bit older than you would probably want your Johnny Cage to be, but like, have you seen the kind of shape he's in?
Yeah,
he's in really good shape for his age. You know what I mean? Like, it's like, yeah. So Swag and I were like, yes, give me Joel McHale as Johnny Cage in the next live action movie. I mean, they set that up. They set up Johnny Cage for part 2. So yeah, I think, like, Swag, I'm with you, man. Let's put it out there for our viewer, or Cliff, hopefully you've seen this movie by the time this episode is out. Let's get that hashtag trending on Twitter. Hashtag Joel McHale for Johnny Cage.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, I'm with you, man. Like, he knocked it out of the park in Scorpion's Revenge. But yeah, like I said, I think watching the behind the scenes stuff here really emphasized just how much he really had fun, and really they just let him loose to do what he wanted to in the booth, and he just nailed it, man. I mean, you can't fake that. You know what I mean?
No.
Yeah,
I enjoyed that. That was and like, especially like, like getting into the games recently, and like Johnny Cage becoming one of my favorite characters, like seeing him just again like improvise, and like it's like, this is good, but this will make it better, and like just going off, like it's like the most Johnny Cage thing to do.
It is. And that's what I mean. Like, it was watching all that stuff. It's like, man, he really got the character and really nailed it. So yeah, let him do that in live action. Let him do it in front of the camera.
Yeah. And even then, like, like if we don't get that, just give me more like him as the character in voice work, like more of these movies, or just have him voice the character in the games from now on. Like, I'm okay with that.
Hey, I'd be okay with that too. Like, he's just done such a good job with the character over these 2 animated movies that it's like, Yeah, I'm with you, man. Like, give me more of these movies, or like you said, like, hey, Ed Boon, hire this guy to do the voice in the games now because
Yeah.
he's killing it. So yeah, it's crazy, man. It's this one kind of ends in a way where it's like this might be the last one, but they
Yeah.
also kind of leave it open to like, well, who knows what threats might come, you know? So
Yeah.
yeah, like I said, like when Scorpion's Revenge came out, I was like, they've at least got one more in the can. Like I know that much. I know that about how these things work, but I don't know for sure if they have any more. I think that all depends on whether or not these two sell enough to warrant more of them. So I'm really hoping. I'm hoping that the audience is out there and demanding more because like I've had so much fun with both of these that
Yeah.
yeah, I want more of this. I really do.
Same.
Yeah. So what would you rate Mortal Kombat Legends Battle of the Realms?
Uh, you know what? Like, that's a 10 out of 10. Like, it was enjoyable and like engaging all the way through. Like, there was not a moment where I was like, oh, I need to like take a break. Like, like it's like, yeah, like keep going, give me more. Like, I want to see where this goes.
I agree. I agree 100%. 10 out of 10 for me as well. It was really engaging and it was fun. It was shocking and violent where it needed to be. It's everything you
Yeah.
want from Mortal Kombat. Like what else do you want me to say? 10 out of
Yeah.
10. Yeah, I agree with you, man. Fantastic. Yeah, so there it is, ladies and gentlemen. If you've seen it, let us know what you think. Yeah. All right, so let's get. We're gonna do this the same way we did last week. Last week's episode, we're gonna go straight into games because we do have a follow up from last week. Just like we said, if
Yep.
you remember last week, we talked about Marvel's Midnight Suns video game. They did have the reveal trailer. It was just a cinematic trailer, but they did tell us that we were going to get gameplay on, was it the first
The
swag?
first. Yeah.
September 1st. Yes. And sure enough, we got that gameplay. And yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and let you take it away, Swag. Why don't you let the people know what exactly was revealed and how you feel about it?
Yeah, so they showed off the gameplay and like, what the game is going to be like and also just kind of more of the story, what we're going to be dealing with, what it's going to be like. And it looks like they're doing another strategy game,
Mm-hmm.
which is interesting. Uh, but and there, I will admit there was some worry from me for a little bit there, but they
Yeah.
did also release that day an extended gameplay trailer, like actually diving deep into what the game is going to play like, what it's got to offer and the features and all that.
Yeah.
And I'm not as worried after watching that. So I think if you are like me and you only watched the announcement trailer, I think like go check out that extended gameplay trailer because that really helped me feel a little more comfortable with what we're going to be getting with the game.
Yeah. No, no. Yeah, I agree. I agree with you. I know you and I spoke about it a little bit, and just to sort of interject a little bit and let people know about how I felt about it. I
Yeah.
also had my excitement was dampened just a little bit when they're like it's going to be turn based, and it's like and I talked to you about it a little bit where I was like, I think my reaction was just based on prior experience with turn-based games like this of this nature, where
Yeah.
it's like I have much fun with those. But who know, like, it's that thing you kind of take a minute, step back, and you're like, well, this might be different. Who knows? Who knows? You can't judge a new product based on a previous one. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So yeah, I kind of took a minute back, and I was like, you know what? I'm still gonna give this game a shot. I'm still excited. I am.
Yeah.
And yeah, you're right. It's like if you just watched the one trailer and you didn't get sort of the a better feel for it. It's like, yeah, of course you might be a little like, like I was. But no, you're right, man. It's just again, it's just sort of adjusting your expectations. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, but go ahead, man.
But yeah, like I do want to like kind of get more into like it's aesthetically pleasing. Like I really love the art style, like especially like they showed off a lot of like the moves and stuff and like what the characters will look like when they attack and stuff. And it looks really good cuz like it even does like close-ups on the characters and then like really colorful backgrounds when they charge up and get ready to attack. Like it looks cool. And that I enjoyed. And like even getting like cinematic shots for like the story of like all the characters, like even like there was one shot of Blade jumping off of the roof to cut down a Hydra soldier. Like that
Yeah,
was cool. I loved that.
that was very cool.
Yeah. So yeah, no, it's like I'm still looking forward to it. Like I'm interested to see more, see what they're gonna do. And I'll probably give it a shot because the more I thought about it, it's like I did enjoy XCOM 2. That was
Yeah,
actually a pretty fun game to play for me. So I don't know, I might like this. So yeah, I'm still gonna keep my eye on it and probably even give it a chance. So yeah.
yeah, no, I feel the same way, man. I do. It's like I said, it was a momentary like, oh, I'm not sure I like that. I'm not sure I want that.
Yeah.
But again, you kind of take a step back and it's like, yeah, I'll give it a shot. Why not?
Yeah.
This might be the one to turn me around on the whole thing, So
Yeah.
no, yeah, I'm still very much looking forward to it. I am very optimistic. So yeah. So was there anything else you want to talk about or need to talk about in terms of video game news this week, Spike?
Uh I do kind of want to talk a little bit about Gotham Knights and then also kind of mix that in with Midnight Suns because there was a topic I brought up to you.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, I can't believe I even forgot about that. But yes,
Yeah.
about Gotham Knights. So, if you don't mind, so this morning
Go for it.
there was a reveal. It wasn't anything big. It wasn't footage. It wasn't gameplay or anything like that. We got a motion poster for the game, which looks incredible. Looks amazing.
Yep.
It's very cool. I mean, obviously they're holding off on revealing anything until Fandom this year, DC Fandom, which is October 16th. So, ladies and gentlemen, mark your calendars. We did get a new trailer for that event. Again, like they didn't show off any new footage in the trailer. It was just a trailer announcing like, "Hey, October 16th." But yeah, we got a trailer. We got a not a trailer, motion poster for Gotham Knights. Looks very cool. Like Swag and I were talking about before we started recording. Everything still looks pretty much the way we remember it from the trailer last year. The one thing I did notice was Batgirl seemed to have gotten an upgrade in regards to hair.
Yeah.
Like and not like it's a completely different hairstyle. I mean, it looks like they were able to add some more texture to it. It just looks better,
Yeah.
Which is nice. I dig it. I dig that they didn't drastically overhaul any of the characters. It does just look like they added a bit more quality to them. So, yeah, everything looks good. I like it. But go ahead, Spike. What were you? What are your thoughts? What did you have to say about tonight?
Yeah. So, like kind of touching on just real quick on the poster, like it again, like it just looks great. Like the design of like Gotham City specifically, like even the characters, like they nailed those characters first try. It's like, yeah, I'm glad that they're not changing a whole lot with them. Like those designs are really good.
Yeah,
But like again, like Gotham City, like I love the neon. Like I think that's really really good choice. It brings a really nice color palette to it as well. Like especially the logo, the title.
yeah,
Uh, it looks great. And like even in that shot of the characters, like seeing the way that the lighting is affecting everything, it just looks nice. But yeah, kind of to bring up that topic that I mentioned. I was talking with my group of friends a few nights ago, and we were and we were Mitchell, he kind of brought it up. I don't remember what we were talking about. He was like, "When's Gotham Knights coming out?" And I was like, "Oh yeah, that next year, I believe." And he's like, "Oh yeah." And then we kind of just got into it and just kind of talking about it. And then Dr. Quack, he kind of was like, "Well, I don't know. It just looks like it's going to be more of Avengers." And then I kind of brought up the point of Avengers wasn't really the thing that really killed Avengers for me was not just like the way that gameplay felt. Like they fixed that. But just not being able to explore bigger worlds was kind of the letdown to me. And I even mentioning like, because like I brought it up, I was like, that's what killed it to me, and I was like, and that's what has me excited for Gotham Knights, because even if it does bring like gear systems and whatnot, at least like I have faith in the gameplay. Like what I saw looked entertaining and fun, but also there's the plus side of being able to explore all of Gotham City with my friends. And I feel like that's the way like superhero games should be, is like exploring these worlds and their universe, and like as these characters, and getting to go fight and play in the sandbox with your friends or even by yourself. Like, and I even brought it up to you, like the Arkham games did that so well, and that's what made them so entertaining. And I even said, like, why is it that after Rocksteady was like, okay, we're going to take a break for a minute and go work on this other game, that Insomniac was the only other developer to kind of bring that kind of magic back with Spider-Man? Because again, like Avengers didn't let you go and explore a world as the Avengers. It put you in these really linear worlds. Sure, they're explorable to an extent, but not in the way that Arkham Knight is or Spider-Man PS4 is. And even again with Midnight Suns, even though I'm still going to give it a shot, like it's not explorable. It's not like a sandbox.
It's not open world.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I think you're absolutely right to make that comparison. And talking about Avengers, it's that thing where I feel like a lot of other people nailed it in their sort of criticism, in that it's a game that probably needed another year before it launched. Like if they had delayed it and launched it now, it probably would have gone way better for them.
Much better. Yeah.
And that's also why I feel like, like when they announced they were delaying Gotham Knights, it's like, yeah, it's disappointing or whatever, but it's like, how many times can we rush a game that isn't ready to be released, and then the launch goes horribly wrong, and then people give up on it, and then by the time it is playable, it's like, well, your reputation has already been soured, So yeah, that's why I'm like, you know what, you're gonna delay it. Yeah, it's disappointing, but whatever. Just make sure the game is good. So, and yeah, I think you're right. I think that is the big difference here, is that this game, for sure. I mean, they talked about it last year at Fandom. It's like, yeah, it's going to be an open world experience. Yeah. And you are 100% correct. Like that's what's going to be the most fun about it, because it's already fun. It was already fun in the Arkham games, being Batman and getting to explore Gotham City or Arkham City or whatever.
Yeah.
And while yes, you could do like challenges or whatever with other characters. And even like Spider-Man, the Marvel Spider-Man and Spider-Man Miles Morales, like, yeah, those games are open world. And yes, those are very, very fun. But like the cool thing about Gotham Knights, at least what we've been promised, is the ability to play as these characters with your friends and your family. And you're going to get to go out into Gotham City as whatever character you want. I mean, you could, for crying out loud, you can both be Nightwing if you want. You can both be Redfield, like, and you can go out into Gotham City and fight crime together, and that's cool, Like,
yeah, exactly.
you're like, that is what I'm excited about. Like, that's what you're excited. That's what I'm excited about. Like, we talked about this, man. It's like, yeah, of course, you and me, we're gonna get this game, and we're gonna play. We're gonna hook up online. We're gonna play, and it's like, I'm gonna be Nightwing because of course I am. And me and my little brother are gonna go out and fight crime in Gotham City, and that's what's so fun about this. So yeah, man, I'm not worried about it until the game comes out, and if there's negative press, then I'll be worried about it. But until then, I'm not worried.
Yeah, exactly. And that was my point. And like when I brought that up to them, and like Dr. Quack immediately, like, he thought about it, and like I explained it to him, and he was like, "No, yeah, I guess you're right." And he was like, "I
Yeah.
think I am gonna look more forward to this." Like, he's got his hopes up for it now, which is good. And I think that that's, important in thinking of, like, like, we've all, if you're, like, a big nerd like me and you, like, we've all experienced the Arkham games. We loved those games. Like, look at how many games they made in that franchise. It's like, we all know from experience, exploring Gotham City was fun and fighting crime was fun. But it will become infinitely better when you unlock the roster of the Bat family to us, but also let us play with our friends and our family. And like, like, that's just what any of us want. So that's what's exciting to me. And again, like, just to kind of make another point about it, like, again, like, Midnight Suns, like, yeah, that's a completely different thing. Like, I'm still interested in that. And it's not like saying, like, oh, every superhero game needs to be open world. That's not true, because Ultimate Alliance was not open world, and that was a good game. So yeah, it's like there are different formulas you can use, but I think, like, if you're struggling with certain things, I think, if you want to make something really appealing and kind of complement your gameplay, especially if it's going to be in the vein of Gotham Knights or Avengers, I think thinking of an open world would be a good idea.
Yeah. That's I think you nailed it. Also, to your point, it's like, like you said, not every superhero game needs to be open world. Case in point, Injustice.
Yeah, exactly.
It's a superhero game, but I mean, it's a fighting game, man. Like, no, that doesn't need to be open world, and it's still a great game. So
yeah, super fun to log onto that.
Oh yeah. No, man, I think you nailed it, man. That's right on. Was that it for games?
Yeah.
All right. Good to know. Thanks for keeping us up to date, Swag. And like I said, ladies and gentlemen, there will obviously be more in regards to Gotham Knights come DC Fandom next month. So we will keep you, and of course, Suicide Squad killed the Justice League. They're also hyping up a lot of stuff for that. So we will keep you guys up to date. And yeah, so just stay tuned. All right, that's gonna do it for games. Swag, let's talk trailers. We got two trailers to talk about today. One for, again, a TV show I know you're not super
I'm not caught up on. Yeah.
But again, I know you're aware of this show, and you've seen, like, what, the first 3 episodes or something. Yeah, but we are, of course, talking about Doom Patrol Season 3. We got a new trailer. This was the official trailer, not just the teaser. We did report on the teaser when that was released. Yeah. Look, y'all know I love this show. I love me some Doom Patrol. Season 1 and 2, like Cliff and I, we gushed about them over and over and over again. This is one of our favorite shows, if not our favorite show currently airing, streaming. I have to remember, it's not on the air, it's streaming. But yeah, no, and this trailer just once again showcasing just how weird and bizarre this show is. the sort of the dark sense of humor it has in dealing with its characters. Also, we get our first real good look at Michelle Gomez as Lady Rouge, Madame Rouge. Sorry, Madame Rouge. I'm getting ahead of myself here. And I think she's doing fantastic just based on the trailer. She's a phenomenal actress, and when they announced she was joining the cast this season, I couldn't be happier because, like I said, I'm a big fan, and for her to come onto a show that I love just has me more excited. So, yeah, it's good to see her. Good to see the whole cast. Once again, I'm not seeing Chief anywhere in this trailer, so I am a little worried in that regard. Also, we have not seen Dorothy. I mean, we saw her in the teaser trailer, but I've seen this trailer a couple times. I've not seen her anywhere in this trailer. So I'm a bit concerned as to the fate of the Chief and Dorothy, but then again, they could just be, this might just be a thing like, oh, we're just, trying to show you certain things and we're not going to show you other things. So, I don't know. But nevertheless, I am a bit concerned. That being said, Swag, once again, I know you're not caught up, but I know you saw the trailer. What are your thoughts? What's your reaction?
Again, very, very interesting, very, like, it looks, again, like, it's funny, also just very fun. It's that thing where it's like, I kind of want to catch up. Like, I really want to just catch up. Like, I've got 2 seasons to catch up before I could get here. But, like, I need to set some time, and I need to do that.
Yeah.
But, yeah, like, it looks good. Looks good. Just, I need to catch up, for sure.
Yeah, straight up. Yeah. Also, I like that the butts are back.
That's I think that's the first time I've ever seen that.
The butt. Yeah, that was crazy. I did like there's a moment in the trailer where you see Robot Man talking to Cliff Steele, and obviously those are the same people, so it's like that's gonna be fun. So
yeah.
I like that every season they do manage to get Brendan Fraser in the show. They show him instead of him just being the voice of Robot Man. So I appreciate anytime they can do that. So yeah, no, I again, you guys already know I'm a huge fan of the show, and I'm just going on and on and on about it. But yeah, it looks great. That's all I can say at this point. It looks great, and I'm looking forward to it. Super excited. September 23rd, so that's 20 days from this recording. So a little under 3 weeks away. So, and we're probably like Titans is probably still going to be airing while this is this is a new era, isn't it?
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Really cool.
So yeah, ladies and gentlemen, September 23rd, season 3 of Doom Patrol will be streaming on HBO Max. So there it is. All right, Swag. Let's talk about. We have another trailer. We have the final trailer for No Time to Die. I say final in air quotes because, again, it's like The King's Man, which we talked about the final trailer for that as well. Final trailer. And again, it's just that I'm tired of waiting. You know what I mean? The same thing with The King's Man. It's not that I'm any less excited for either of these movies. I'm still super hyped, but it's just I'm sick of waiting for both of these. Like, I should have seen these movies already. And the fact that they just keep rolling out trailers, it's like, stop, like you're going to give away too much of the movie. However, I will say this trailer handled itself, I think, better than The King's Man. And that's not that movie's fault. This movie has a heritage and a lineage that they could lean on in terms of promotion, and they did that expertly in this trailer.
Yep.
So my hat's off to them for that, because the first 30 seconds of this trailer is like a previous.
Yeah.
And to their credit, it works because it saves them from showing too much footage from this movie. So yeah, my hat's off to them for doing that. And also, it was great to see a bit more of Rami Malek's performance in this movie.
Yeah.
Which looks great, looks super intense, like a lot of his performances are. So, yeah, again, I'm still super excited for this movie. It's just another case of like still just being frustrated that I haven't seen it yet. So, but yeah, it looks good. It looks good. Swag, what about you? What do you think of this trailer?
Oh yeah, it was again another reason why I'm excited for it. It's like it looks good. And again, like Rami Malek, like his performance, getting more of that was really great. And like yeah, like it's again like I knew he was gonna nail it, and he did. Like just so far from what we've seen, like he's playing a really good villain so far, and I can't wait to see more of that.
Yeah, I agree, man. I agree 100%. Um, did you have any other takeaways from the trailer?
Well, I mean, like, I definitely need to, like, because, like, again, like, that recap at the beginning, like, I need to, for sure, I need to go back and, like, I need to recap the stuff that I have seen, but also watch the rest of the stuff that I have missed, like, for sure. But
Yeah.
again, like, it's just, it looks really good, like, action-wise looks really good, even story-wise, like, just what they're doing with this version of Bond, like, things are clearly catching up, like things that have been set up recently are kind of about to set off on this big thing at this point. So it's definitely interesting and really exciting. So yeah, I need to catch up for sure.
Yeah, yeah. No, and again, hats off to whoever's idea to do that in this trailer was, because it also made me want to go back and
Yeah.
rewatch, you know, like Casino Royale and everything leading up to this. So yeah, man, I think that's something I'm definitely gonna have to do before this comes out. Which, ladies and gentlemen, as of right now, U.S. release date October 8th. So fingers crossed it actually happens this time. So. But I mean, you know, we've gotten enough movies, I think, this year to I think we can confidently say it's going to happen. Although, who knows?
Yeah.
So, fingers crossed. So, all right, there it is, ladies and gentlemen. Let us know if you've seen the trailer. If you have, let us know if you're excited. If you're looking forward to it. Are you gonna rewatch the previous films in anticipation? I know I am. I'm probably gonna make Swag watch them as well. But yeah, so there it is. We only had the two trailers to talk about this week, so let's get into the remainder of the news before we get into TV time this week, which I have a special little thing I want to talk about there. But yeah, let's talk about the news. And the news today, this week anyway, pretty exciting because we got our first look at Resident Evil Welcome to Raccoon City. That is the new live action reboot of the Resident Evil movie franchise. This one promising to be more faithful to the video games, more faithful to the source material than the previous film franchise was. That being said, I was still a big fan of those movies. Like, yeah, they deviated from the source material here and there, but I still wildly enjoyed them. I mean, to varying degrees. I enjoyed some of them better than others, but I think as a whole, I did really enjoy that franchise. Now, I know that might get me some of my nerd cred revoked. I don't care.
Yeah.
However, all that being said, we got some photos from the new movie, and yeah, I am incredibly excited for this movie because, as I said at the start of this story, this promises to be more faithful to the video games. And yeah, obviously I'm very excited about that. As we know, we reported on when it was announced the cast, which includes once again I'm gonna butcher some of these names. So Kaya Scodelario. I'm so sorry. But yes, this woman is playing Claire Redfield, Avon Jogia as Leon S. Kennedy, Robbie Amell as Chris Redfield, Hannah. I'm sorry, is it Hannah John Kamen or Hannah Kamen John? I'm screwing up real bad right now. She is playing Jill Valentine, and Tom Hopper as Albert Wesker. Although there was another reveal here as to a previously unannounced character. Chad Rook is playing Richard Aiken in the film. Did we report on that?
I don't think so.
I don't think
that is new. Yeah.
Yeah, and he is seen here in one of the photos.
Oh, wow.
Then, of course, we got to look at Lisa Trevor in the film. Pretty frightening if you've seen the photo on screen.
Yeah, there it is.
Yeah. And of course, the cast also includes Neil McDonough as Dr. William Birkin. Look, these photos, it's super exciting, man. Like we talked about when the cast was announced. Avon Jogia as Leon Kennedy makes so much sense.
Yeah.
You know, like it's like Leon is known for like a few things, like killing zombies and his hair. And, and Avon has the hair. So, and on top of that, he's also just a really talented dude. So I'm super excited. I'm very excited about the rest of this cast, including Robbie Amell as Chris Redfield. That was one of the casting announcements that had me super excited. And again, looking at this photo, it just proves what I said when we were reporting on the casting. It's like he looks like he just stepped out of the video game. Like,
yeah.
I mean, that's pretty spot on right there. Yeah, so I'm very, very excited just having seen these photos. Swag, what about you? What was your reaction to these photos, and what do you think about just what we've seen of the film so far?
Oh yeah, like having like played like yeah, sure it's the remakes, but like even like from you told me yourself like it's not too big of a difference. Like they've just done things that they couldn't do back then. Like playing the games recently, like it's like yeah, I'm excited to see those stories in live action, and like seeing these screenshots, like these pictures of everybody, the cast, like in costume, in these locations that look very close to what these characters end up being in the games. Like it looks good, and it's got me very, very excited to just see how everybody's performances, but also just to see these stories in live action. And I do like costumes are on point, and Robbie, like legit, just look, that's Chris Redfield. You can't change my mind.
Oh yeah. Yeah, Robbie, I think seeing Avon as Leon and then seeing Robbie as Chris were like the two like highlights for me as far as these photos went. I mean, like, yeah, it was great to see Kaya as Claire.
Yeah.
See that red jacket,
yeah.
you know.
I totally agree. Yeah.
I did see people complaining that she wasn't wearing her hair in a ponytail, but it's like, get out of here, man.
Yeah, whatever. Yeah.
I saw people like legitimately complaining about that, and I was like, dude, whatever. Like, I'm sure she'll put it up in a ponytail.
Yeah, I was even gonna say that.
Like,
I was gonna be like, what? Like, she's not gonna do that at like the boss fight at the end of the movie.
like we're looking at one photo from the movie. Like, you don't know that he doesn't rock the ponytail.
Yeah.
And I did see people sort of critiquing Jill's look, like she doesn't have her shoulder pads or whatever. It's like, again, it's like, whatever. Like no one else is wearing shoulder pads. Why would she be wearing?
Yeah.
It just makes sense. So, yeah, no, I think everyone looks good. So.
Yeah. And even I was gonna say, like, I think, like, and it's very nitpicky. Like, I don't care either way, but like, it would have been nice to kind of see her with the beret on, with the stars beret. Yeah. But also, like, thinking about it, it's like it wouldn't surprise me if like she goes into the mission with it on, but like something happens at the start of the mission and she loses it.
Yeah, straight up. Like, again, it's the thing with the ponytail. It's like you don't wear the beret in the movie. Like, again, it's one photo. We don't know.
So, yeah, exactly.
Yeah, and also, like, you know, look, the one thing I am a bit disappointed by is look at Albert Wesker, and it's not even the character or the the actor. I love Tom Hopper. I'm sure he's gonna kill it. But it's like we only see him from behind.
I know.
So,
Yeah.
like, come on, man. Come on. You couldn't have given us a hero shot of all of them together.
Yeah.
Full,
That's the team
head
right
on.
there. Yeah.
Yeah. But I mean, again, that's just super nitpicky. That's me being selfish and wanting to see everything. So
Yeah.
again, like I think Tom Hopper's gonna kill it. Because like everybody, spoilers for a video game that came out over 20 years ago. The turn is what I'm looking forward to most for him. Because Albert Wesker, he starts out in this story anyways. He's like, "Oh, I'm one of you guys on the Stars team," and obviously he's more than that. So I'm really excited to see what he does with the character. So yeah, I have high hopes. I really do. But yeah, man. Look, as far as just looking at these photos, yeah, super hyped, super excited. How about you, Swag?
Yeah, definitely. Just really hyped. And like again, like I just want to bring it like clearly they're in the mansion. Like seeing that in live action, like it looks wherever they're like if it's a set or like they got some place to shoot in, like it looks spot on. It looks great.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I agree. I was gonna say that and I forgot. But yeah, it's great to see. Like, yeah, they're in the Spencer Mansion. And it's like, that's cool. So yeah, I will say this. Like, I already said this to you, but I'm going to put this out here on the podcast. It's a little weird that we're only seeing photos right now, considering the release date is November 24th. So
yeah,
we should at least have a teaser trailer by now.
Yeah.
Nothing yet, but I mean, look, just the fact that we've got some photos, we're probably going to get a trailer sometime soon. So we'll keep you guys updated on that. Obviously, once it drops, we will report on it here. So, yeah. Like I said, release date as of right now, November 24th, 2021 in the US, December 3rd in the UK, and November 25th in Australia. So, there. Oh, actually, hold on. Oh, never mind. Okay, yeah, so those are the release dates. So, November 24th if you're in the US. So, awesome. All right, so that's going to do it for the news proper. Let's go ahead and transition into TV time. And before I get into that little something special that I teased earlier, we're going to lead with some casting news for season 3 of Batwoman. I don't think I said anything about this to Swag yet. I think this is probably his first time hearing about it, so I want to get your honest reaction, Swag.
All right.
Batwoman season 3 has cast actress Bridget Regan as, drumroll please, Poison Ivy.
Huh.
How do you feel about that, Swag?
That's wow.
Right?
Yeah.
Those of us who watched season 2 and saw the finale, we knew this character was coming, but I don't think I said anything to you about it.
No, you didn't.
Yeah, there was the way it ended. There was we saw some vines do some things. Poison. Okay.
Yeah.
But yeah, so we know who's playing the part, and look, I'm not super familiar with this lady's her work. I'm looking at some of her credits, and I think the only thing I've watched that she was in is Agent Carter, but I haven't watched that show since it aired, so I don't entirely remember. But looking at, I mean, just from a physical standpoint, she's very beautiful. Very, she definitely has that look to her that, you give her maybe some pale green skin. This photo they're using here, she already has red hair. So, yeah, I'm in. So, yeah, let's do it. Swag, how do you feel about it? Again, I know you're not watching Batwoman. I think I'm the only one on the podcast who is. But, what do you think, man? It's a pretty big Batman villain that they're going to be using. I mean, not that season 2 had Black Mask, for crying out
Yeah.
loud. But yeah, man, how do you feel, man? Does this give you maybe an incentive to tune into season 3, or what?
Yeah.
How do you?
No, yeah, I should definitely, because like again, like even with like what you were talking about with Black Mask, like I
Mm,
was already interested, and like I'm actually kind of a little upset I didn't watch when that was happening. Like I think I
yeah,
should definitely catch up so I can see all of this because it sounds really good so far. Like really interesting. Like I need to, like I want to see these characters, especially in
yeah,
this universe that we've been familiar with for a while now. Like yeah, I
yeah,
need to check this out for sure. And like also just Poison Ivy and like her specifically, like yeah, she looks like yeah, you just give her the skin, like yeah, she looks like she is Poison Ivy. So yeah, like it's definitely exciting for sure. And again, like just to see the character, more of the character,
yeah.
is great.
I agree. I agree 100%. I'm waiting for her to show up in the DCEU.
Yeah,
So, but I mean, until then, this is definitely going to hold me over. And again, it's that thing where I know I'm not the only one who feels this way, but season 2 of Batwoman was a huge improvement over season 1. I mean, I don't know what that says about season 1, considering it was a whole different actress, a whole different character. But but season 2 honestly felt like, because they were free to do sort of their own thing, because they Kate Kane was no longer Batwoman, and they were sort of free to do whatever they wanted with a new character. It honestly, it felt like a completely different show in the best way possible. Like, even I was like, when they were like, it's going to be a new character, a new actress, I was like, that's dumb. Like, why? But I watched it and it surprised me. I tuned in every week. I never got tired of it or sick of it, and I really liked it. So yeah, I am incredibly excited for season 3, especially with this news. So yeah, I'm on board. Let's do it. Um, all right. So that's the news in regards to TV time. So let's get into what we actually watched this week. But before that, here's what I wanted to talk about. This is the special thing. We mentioned this a couple weeks ago. Might have been a month or two ago. I don't remember. Swag, you and I have both been watching Monsters at Work on Disney
yeah,
Plus. Now, again, I know this isn't like nerdy stuff or whatever, but I wanted to bring this up specifically because the season finale was this week, and again, I think we mentioned it. This is Monsters Monsters Inc. is a movie that is very near and dear to my heart, Swag's heart. I think our whole family is just, that movie means a lot to us for a variety of reasons. Regardless, we got Monsters University, which was great, love it,
yeah,
and but this show, and it's weird that I haven't seen a whole lot of promotion for it.
yeah,
Yeah, I mean, not there's not promotion, but I don't see it getting promoted like in the same way as like The Mandalorian or any of those Marvel shows, which is a little disappointing because this show is so good. It's
yeah,
so good, and it functions so well as like maybe not a direct continuation, but a continuation of that world, the world of Monsters Inc. Because again, we talked about it a while ago. It's like Mike and Sully, like they're in the show, but they're not the main characters. They're sort of periphery characters. They're in a lot of the episodes, but again, they're never really the focus. And like, yeah, like they brought back a lot, everyone they could, like John Goodman as Sully, Billy Crystal as Mike, even Jennifer Tilly as Celia, and so on and so forth. But the show is sort of led by a new cast of new characters, and they're all great. Like, you get emotionally invested in those characters as well. But I wanted to talk specifically about the finale because Swag and I talked about it.
yeah,
There's a moment in the finale that does deal specifically with Sully, and he sort of emotionally revisits the events of Monsters Inc. And it's just such a testament to what a phenomenal actor John Goodman is, because I was watching it and it's just John. Like he's all the work he's doing is through his voice, and the man legitimately brought me to tears.
Yeah.
And the whole time I was like, God, man, John Goodman is such a phenomenal actor. I don't think people give him enough credit. I know like everybody acknowledges he's a phenomenally talented actor, but I don't think people really give him the credit he deserves. And I mean, I've been on this kick for a couple of years now where I'm like, oh, Goodman, he's so good. He's amazing. He's phenomenal. Put him in everything and I'll watch it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because he's so good. He is so good. And this one episode of this show, like if there was ever any doubt of this man's talent, watch this episode. And just that one scene, it's such a powerhouse of performance from a phenomenally talented actor that, again, I don't think gets enough credit for what he does. And it was so powerful and so moving that I specifically wanted to talk about it on this show. So, yes, ladies and gentlemen, if you're not watching Monsters at Work on Disney Plus, you are doing yourself a huge disservice. Do yourself a favor. Go watch that show. It's funny. It's heartwarming. It's so entertaining. It's good fun for the whole family. And again, if the Monsters Inc. universe is something that matters to you as much as it does to me and Swag, you're going to get so much out of this. I'm not even going to spoil the other thing that had me into the episode because I want everyone to just see it and experience it the way I did. But yeah, man, I wanted to bring that up. Swag, do you have anything to add to that? Like, because I know you had this reaction I did. So yeah, man, if you want to say anything about it, go ahead, man.
Yeah. Like John Goodman, like yeah, like that scene specifically, like it came up and it really was like just this really big moment, like for Sully and even for the new character Tyler.
Yeah.
Like it was kind of this connection moment, but also just kind of catching up with Sully again and kind of hearing more of his experience with the events of the original movie. But again, like John Goodman, like he did such a great job. Like it was so short, but it was still like really, really good. And like he put all of his energy into that one scene. And yeah, it had a lot of emotion, and it was, like again, like like you said, like we have a really big connection with that movie, and like I do too. It's like, when he talks about that, like when he kind of explains his feelings and talks about why he's doing what he's doing, like it like they didn't even need to do it, like they didn't clearly, but they could have done like a thing where it's like like a flashback or whatever. But they didn't, because in my head, when he talked about all of that, like I just remembered everything in my head from the original movie. And that helped with the emotion that was, that I felt. And like John Goodman's performance, I guarantee that was the only reason why I remembered all that, because he really put a lot of emotion behind that.
He did, man. It was so like I'm even just thinking about it right now. I'm already getting misty eyed. Because you're right, man. It's a thing where they could have just done a flashback and showed it to you.
Yeah.
And I'm sure maybe they thought about doing it, but I guarantee you, just the power of John Goodman's performance was enough. It was more than enough.
Yeah.
Well, when he talks about it, you're right, because you, in your head, you see it, you remember it, and it's, how much it meant to him, how much it changed him.
Yeah.
And man, it was like Right, here we are talking about, this is Nerds Around the Table. We used to talk about comic books and superheroes, and we're here talking about this Pixar thing. And again, it's great. We love Monsters Inc. We love it, but it's like this show did something. And again, we've been watching it week to week as it's been streaming and loving it. It's fun. It's funny. It's everything you would want from a TV show.
Yeah.
You know, based on Monsters Inc. But like this final episode just hit you emotionally. Not once, but like twice.
Yeah.
Yeah. But in a way that I was not expecting, therefore I was not ready for it.
Yeah.
But it works so well. And it was just something that, like, it's so criminal that they're not promoting this as much as they should. Yeah. And it's such a shame that at least I haven't seen very many people talking about it online, because it's so good. It's so good. But yeah, so I highly recommend it to anybody out there. If you haven't seen it yet, and again, if you're a big fan of like Monsters Inc. or Monsters University or whatever, that whole thing, if you're a big fan of that, do yourself a favor, check this show out. It's great. Even if you're just a fan of John Goodman, like I am, do yourself a favor and check it out, because the payoff in the show, like I said, when you get to that scene, worth it, man. So good. So good. Yeah, so I wanted to bring that up because I felt like it was worth talking about on the show. Like, if I can put that out there for people, and if people can go out there and watch the show. I will say this, Swag, like, now that the season as a whole has concluded, what would you rate Monsters at Work?
Man. Just 10 out of 10. Because, it's funny, genuinely funny, and just entertaining. Like, I looked forward to it every week. And, not even just for the show and the characters were great. But even just the fact that it brought our family together, like, that was also great. I love doing that. So yeah, like 10, and again, like, the finale was so great. It was unexpected, but it was great, and I'm glad that they did that. So yeah, that's a 10 out of 10 for me.
Yeah, I agree, man. It's a 10 out of 10 for me as well. It was such an enjoyable show, and this to me, I was talking about like when studios or whatever try to weaponize nostalgia, it always comes across as like a gimmick, and I always see through it, and it's like, you didn't get me. This, however, I felt was like nostalgia done right.
Yeah.
Because it didn't feel like they were weaponizing it. Like, hey, here's all the stuff you love, right? Because again, it's like, yeah, Mike and Sully are there, but they're not the main characters. It's like you're introduced to like Tyler and the Mifters,
Yeah.
Those are the main characters. But like, you get so attached to them, and you love them, and you're invested in them. And then for them to pepper in Mike and Sully and Celia and Roz and
Yeah.
Fungus, and for them to pepper them in there the way they did, and again, like we keep saying, like, for that finale to pay off the way that it does, this was beautiful, man. It was fantastic. And me, like, I'm usually pretty harsh on Disney, but this was good, man. This was great.
Yeah.
So this is a 10 out of 10 for me, for sure.
Yeah.
But yeah, ladies and gentlemen, do yourself a favor. Go check out Monsters at Work on Disney Plus. The entirety of season 1 is now available to stream. So there you go. Go get it. All right, now back to your regularly scheduled programming. Let's talk about this week's episode of Stargirl. Boy, this episode.
Yeah.
This episode. There was so many things that happened in this episode. Made me smile, made me laugh, but also made me, like, it's like, okay. Because we did get a bit more, like, again, like last week we were talking about the Shade, and like, is he a bad guy? Is he not a bad guy? And he even kind of hits that nail on the head here. He's like, well, I'm not evil, but or he's like, I may be a bad guy, but I'm not evil. And it's like, yeah, that's a great, like let's explore that.
Yeah.
Really love that. I really love seeing Sportsmaster and Tigress again. And I watching the episode, I was just grinning ear to ear. Crusher and Pat, like this bizarre odd couple of like, I love that moment where he was like, "What happened to us, Pat? Like I felt like we were on the path to becoming good friends." And I even said it out loud. I was like, "Well, you tried to kill him." And then Pat was like, "Yeah, I know. I felt the same way, but you tried to kill me and my family." He's like, "Yeah, good point." And it's like, it's like, oh my god, like yeah, it reminded me how much I loved those interactions between the two of them. And it's like, yeah, I have been missing that. And we didn't talk about this. We didn't report on this, so I'm going to bring it up here since we're talking about it anyways. The two actors who plays Sportsmaster and Tigress, they have been promoted to series regulars for season 3. So just based on what we saw in this episode, I'm hoping we'll get some kind of weird, like, odd couple situation. Yeah. Like with Pat and Crusher and Tigress and Barbara, because we saw them have like a weird bonding moment as well, and I liked it. I liked that between the two of them. So, and this episode also gave us more of Artemis, their daughter, who we know is a character who becomes a teenage superhero in her own right. So again, I'm hoping that they're finally setting that up, because prior to this episode, we only ever saw her in cameo appearances. And again, since we know that Tigress and Sportsmaster are going to be series regulars for next season, I'm hoping that means an expanded role for Artemis. Yeah, I really, really enjoyed that. What do you think, Swag? What were some of your favorite moments in this episode?
Yeah, I loved definitely the Crusher and Pat stuff. That was funny. And like even just like him at the game, like trying to just be quiet. All right, we don't want
to. He's like, all right, let's calm down.
When he tries to play that, big fans here. Yeah, that stuff was great.
That was great. And again, like, also, it shows like Luke Wilson's comedic movies. I love him so much. But yeah, go ahead.
But even like like Artemis, like her, like just getting more of her. Like this was pretty much her episode. Like we saw a lot of her in this episode, and that was great. Just kind of seeing how she's dealing with this kind of thing, and also like even just her parents. Like I feel like like I think they might end up becoming somewhat of like a good guy. Like they're probably gonna team up and ally with with our heroes in the next season, because by like how they were doing things this episode, it's like I think like they just really care about their daughter, and that's really all that it is. Like I think they really do genuinely regret kind of doing what they did. And like they see like, oh yeah, we made these mistakes and now we can't be with our daughter and support her and help her. It's like they regret that, and I like that.
They revealed that information to her in this episode. And she didn't know who her parents were. And and I think it is worth noting that Tigress at least did reform. So Sportsmaster is always kind of a gray area. I mean, he is always very family oriented, in regards to his children and whatnot. But yeah, he's always sort of a gray area, whether he's like full on villain or maybe he's somewhere in between. But yeah, no, it looks at least like the two of them might try and reform, especially since they broke out of prison, but they were like, look, we just want to go watch our daughter, and then we'll break right back into prison. You know?
Yeah.
It's like they do have some morals. It's
Yeah.
yeah. Yeah. What else did you think of this episode, man?
Yeah, like
what do you think of the confrontation between Courtney and the Shade?
oh yeah, definitely. Yeah, I don't know why I forgot about that because that was a really that
It was
one
really
had me thinking for a while too. Because it is that thing where it's like, like yeah, like he brings it up. It's like there's a difference between being evil and being bad. And like
yeah
he explains himself. It's like I am not evil. I'm a bad guy, but I'm not evil.
yeah
And again, like it's that thing where you kind of see him like in the way that he's talking to her, and he tells her like to stay out of his way and leave it to him.
yeah
It does genuinely seem like it's like he wants to prevent anybody from getting hurt. So yeah,
yeah
sure, he's kind of like not doing a very good job of keeping them away and like making them feel better. But it's that thing where you think like like you feel like he genuinely like it's like he wants this situation to be left in the hands of somebody who knows how to handle that kind of power.
yeah
And he just doesn't want anybody else to get hurt.
yeah. I agree. I agree. It's again like we were theorizing after last week's episode that like because it was like prior to last week's episode, it's like, oh, I think he's trying to get a hold of Eclipso, and it's going to be like a villain team. And I also liked how he was like a super villain team up. Is that really the best? I thought that was great. But then and then after last week's episode, it's like, oh, because it was like, yeah, he is looking for the Black Diamond, but the reveal anyway that he may not have been looking for it as a means to use it, And then in this episode, he straight up said, like, Courtney asked him, like, what are you gonna do? Yeah, what are you gonna do when you get a hold of the diamond? He's like, I'm gonna drop it to the deepest part of the ocean so that no one will ever get their hands on it again. And I was like, and the thing is, like, I believe him. I genuinely do. Like, because he does genuinely look, this is a form of evil that is too powerful and too unwieldy, and no one should have this kind of power.
Yeah.
Which makes him a little noble. Also, the reveal that he didn't actually kill Dr. Midnight.
Yeah.
He trapped him in the shadow dimension, which is cool. Look, I didn't see that coming at all. I mean, you said like you had a theory.
Yeah.
But like I didn't see it coming at all. Like I was like, oh yeah, he definitely killed that dude.
I don't remember where it came, because it was for sure it started with the shot of like when they recapped it and they showed us, him getting taken by the shadow. Like again, like it started with that, but then something else with the Shade. I think specifically, I think he says something or does something.
Yeah.
Or maybe it was something else, but it gave me an idea. I was like, maybe he didn't kill him. Maybe he just, he's holding on to him in some other dimension or something like that. And again, like with that reveal, like it just confirmed my theory. I don't remember exactly where I got it from, but yeah, I knew I had it for a while this season.
Here's the question I have now. Like we know he trapped Dr. Midnight. Is it possible some of the other JSA members are also like that's the question I have coming out of that. Again, like it might just be Dr. Midnight, it might not be. I don't know. It is just something I was thinking about. But yeah, and also the revelation that that's who Beth has been talking to.
Yeah.
Through the goggles. I mean, the AI was who she was talking to in season 1.
Yeah.
But we got these little moments where she heard who she thought was Chuck trying to talk to her, but he was like, I don't know anyone named Beth, and she would get like more and more like heartbroken every time it happened, And then in this episode, it's like, no, I'm Dr. Charles McNider, and I'm stuck, I'm trapped, and like he obviously doesn't get his entire message out to her, but just it's crazy, man. This episode did a lot of stuff. I thoroughly enjoyed this episode, man. I really did.
Yeah.
Like, this was great. I liked I liked all of it, man. I didn't feel like any of it was all that superfluous. Even like Rick, even though his big payoff was like proving the one teacher wrong.
Yeah.
I still enjoyed that. I really like this episode. What would you rate this episode, Swag?
Oh, 10 out of 10. Because, like you said, like, there was nothing that was, like, that slowed it down or just made it kind of feel like they were dragging it on or anything. Like, it meshed and flowed perfectly. Like, I enjoyed it all the way through.
Yeah. I did as well, yeah. 10 out of 10 for me as well. Really great episode. It was good. It was fun. All right, let's talk about this week's episode of Marvel's What If. This was an episode. I remember when it finished. This episode had a very bittersweet ending, and for some reason, that's kind of why I enjoyed it the most. This was a Doctor Strange episode, and the idea that the death of Christine Palmer is what set him down his path to becoming Doctor Strange and the Sorcerer Supreme and all that. But his inability to let go of the past and move forward is sort of what fuels this episode. Like, him using the time stone to travel back in time and try to prevent her death, even though that would create a paradox. He's warned many, many times over and over again. This is a fixed point. You can't change this because changing this would create a paradox. And the paradox would cause this entire universe to fold in on itself. But he's so just unwilling to let go. He's unwilling to accept that, And he's just so blinded in his grief and his love for Christine that he just can't let go. And this is what causes everything to go wrong in the episode. I like these kinds of stories. And, like, yes, it's a multiverse story, and I love multiverse stories, but specifically dealing with time travel and the consequences of time travel, like why you shouldn't do it, especially for selfish reasons. Those are always my favorite time travel stories. And this episode of What If ticked a lot of the right boxes for me. It's like, number one, it's a multiverse story. Number two, it's a time travel story, and why you shouldn't do that. It's so like this bittersweet love story, about someone not being able to let go of the past and move forward. This episode was really, really, I really liked this episode. Visually, it was stunning. The animation was beautiful. The visual choices they made were really great. The voice cast, again, being, I think they got everybody back, right, from the movie?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
Pretty sure it was everybody. Yeah. And I said this watching the episode, Cliff and I have both sort of given Benedict Cumberbatch a hard time about his American accent in the past. But I was watching this episode and I was like, oh, I think he's gotten better at doing an American accent. Like, it sounded much more refined in this episode, which is weird because it was an animated thing. But, credit where credit is due. His American accent sounds much better. So, yeah, man, I really like this episode. What did you think? What were your thoughts on this episode?
Yeah, I enjoyed it. And again, like, it's a thing where I feel like it felt a lot more closer to a Doctor Strange story than the actual movie.
Yeah.
And I think that's why I enjoyed it so much. Because it really did, like, dive deeper into, again, like, the more darker, like, occult kind of story that Doctor Strange and, like, that side of Marvel gets into. And, like, it, again, like, aesthetically, like, it was really it was really beautiful. And like again, like even in when he's absorbing all the different monsters and stuff, like again, like that looks very Doctor Strange. Like that, the lighting, like even like just everything that was happening, like it looked great. And again, like yeah, story wise, like I enjoyed it. And even right to the ending,
Yeah.
it was good, really good.
Yeah. Yeah. I agree, man. You hit it right on the head. Like, because watching the episode, I was also like, okay, this is a Doctor Strange story. Like,
Yeah,
this is what I wanted to see. Like all the weird, like, mystical stuff and like all the monsters and stuff like that. It's like, yeah, that's what I wanted to see in a Doctor Strange story, and why I was ultimately disappointed by the movie. However, that being said, like watching this episode, I was like, if more of this is what we get in Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness, sign me up.
yeah,
And especially since this is already a multiverse story.
yeah,
Yeah, give me more of this, man. Like this is great. Yeah, I really love the ending, because one of my favorite things about dealing with the multiverse is you can have them end not happy, and
yeah,
this was a happy ending. This was a very tragic ending, actually. I just called it bittersweet at top. That's not the right term. This was a very tragic ending.
yeah,
The idea that Doctor Strange was, this version of Doctor Strange anyways, was so blinded by his grief and so unwilling to let go of the past and so unwilling to accept that there was nothing he could do about it, that he ultimately destroyed the world, including the woman he was trying to save. That, again, it's not that I normally like these kinds of things, but like that is the lesson you need to learn from a story like this.
yeah,
So yeah, I for this story, that is the only way that this could have ended. Like I would not have liked this episode at all had the good Doctor Strange actually defeated the evil one.
yeah,
Because it's like, then what was the point? What was the point of this story?
yeah, exactly.
It's like, if you just cop out to give us a happy ending. Again, not that I think happy endings are bad. I just feel like your ending has to fit the story you're telling. And in this case, this tragic ending was the only way this story could end in order to fit the lesson of the story.
Yeah,
So, yeah, this episode just worked on so many great levels that it's like, yeah, I like this. This was a 10 out of 10 for me. What about you?
yeah, 10 out of 10 for sure. It was very and again, like yeah, like if this is what we're gonna get with the next Doctor Strange movie, like yeah, sign me up.
Yeah, agreed. All right, let's get into. By the way, that was Marvel's What If. If you're watching the show and you saw this week's episode, let us know what you saw. All right, Swag, let's talk about Titans. It's our favorite time. This week's episode of Titans, titled Lady Vic, which was interesting that they named this episode that, considering how little of the episode Lady Vic was actually in.
Yeah,
I mean, not that she didn't have great importance over the story they were telling, but it's just like she was hardly in it. But I really like this episode. I like the way it started. I like the flashback to a young Dick and Barbara,
yeah,
which I was expecting to see, but I'm glad that we did. And also getting to see some of that relationship, the romance, was nice. I really like that actress who's playing Barbara, Savannah Welch. I really like her. Brilliant casting. I hope she sticks around.
yeah,
Yeah, because I think she's doing great. Her performance, especially in this episode, her performance was incredible. Like having to play the different versions of Barbara, whether it's the young Barbara versus Commissioner Gordon, was great. I thought she handled those perfectly. And Brenton getting to do his thing again, as whether it was as Robin or present day Dick Grayson.
yeah,
I feel like he continues to absolutely kill it in that role. Also, it was great to see a continuation of the story between Corey and her sister, and especially how she sort of comes into the picture and sort of disrupts everything, sort of in the best way. But like there were times where she got on my nerves, especially like where she still considers herself a princess, and it's like that's not how things work here. Like, get over yourself. But I did like some of her interactions with Connor or even Gar, and the brief interaction she had with Dick, I thought was great. Yeah, this episode I thought hit a lot of really great. There were a lot of really great moments with the characters, and even with the stuff with Jason and Crane and even Lady Vic, because I thought that was great. Because so again, we couldn't really talk about last week's episode on last week's show because Swag wasn't caught up. He is caught up now, so I feel talk about something, and especially how it relates to this week's episode, where last week's episode Lazarus was like the big flashback episode for Jason, and the thing I wanted to talk about was sort of the realization that Jason, yes, he might be doing bad things, but he's actually not the mastermind behind all the bad things that are happening. Crane is, and he's manipulating Jason, and that comes to a head in this episode where Jason sort of starts to act out against Crane, especially when he's like, "You're replaceable. I don't need you. Like, I've already got something, on deck in case I need to remove you from the board." And that does not sit well with Jason, obviously.
Yeah.
But it's such an interesting thing to do because, again, while they're taking sort of the basic idea of Under the Red Hood, but they're adapting it in a new way that they can do things that we may not be expecting them to do. And this is exactly what I'm talking about right here. The idea of Jason maybe not being as bad as the things that he does because he's being manipulated by someone else who is worse. So, yeah, what do you think of that, man?
Yeah, I find it really interesting, and I really like it. It also made me think back, on a lot of things that happened previously, because it's that thing in it was episode 3, right? When he makes the call and he tries to get Hank to come get him, and it's maybe he genuinely was I regret this, this isn't what I want to do, I want to get out of this. Maybe he was legitimately trying to get help.
Yeah.
And then just Crane or somebody, he made him take the drug, and he went on and did his thing. All of those regrets and him being afraid of going with the plan just went away, and he continued on with what he was told to do. It really does open up a lot.
It does kind of jive with what I was saying watching that episode, is because again, we didn't understand the extent of what that drug was or how it worked, but you is it the drug he was taking? Maybe that had something to do with maybe, and you're right, thinking about it now, it's maybe it was exactly what you said. Maybe he realized oh, I messed up and I need to get out of this, and then Crane hits him with the drug and he's like, all right, we're gonna kill Hank. It's so yeah, I'm very interested to see where that goes. What else did you think of this episode?
I think a lot of the stuff with Dick and Barbara, that was really good and really interesting, especially just kind of just getting more of the history between the two characters, and even especially in this world. That's always great, and also kind of seeing how that plays into how things are going on now, and how their relationship is between each other now. It was great seeing that. And again, performances from both actors, it was just great. especially like their final moment together was just.
Yeah.
It's like like clearly they both remember it, and they're both kind of they have their own feelings about it, and it still kind of has this tension between them, clearly. And again, like both of them, like their performances, like it was really great because it just like the silence in between each things that they said and like the way that they talked to each other in that final moment was really great, and it sold, how they felt about that.
Yeah, I agree. I agree 100%, man. It's also, before I forget, I want to talk about how great it was to see that Barbara, even though she's disabled, she could still fight and still defend herself. Like, that was great. Not that we haven't seen Barbara in the comic books at least do something similar. It was great to see it in live action because it's I was thinking about it watching it. I was like, wow, this is really well choreographed. And thinking about it, it's like this could not have been easy to choreograph this. So so bravo that they pulled it off, and I think they pulled it off very well. So what would you rate this episode, Swag?
10 out of 10 for sure, because it was really enjoyable all the way through. And again, like it was also just like more like with the Blackfire side, like I didn't really like that was really good.
Yeah, no, I agree. 10 out of 10 for me as well, for like all the same reasons.
Yeah.
It's an interesting week. 10 out of 10s for everything.
Yeah.
So, the 1 week Cliff isn't here, so oh well.
Well, yeah, the 1 week Cliff isn't here to keep us honest.
Right. Oh man. All right, so there it is, ladies and gentlemen, the latest episode of Titans. If you're watching the show, let us know what you thought, and let us know how you're enjoying it so far. That's going to do it for us this week, ladies and gentlemen. Swag, well, before we get to that, go ahead and drop Cliff's link tree right here on screen. Everybody go follow Cliff, go show him the love, show him some support. He deserves it. Swag, let everyone know where they can find you.
Yeah, you guys can come over to youtube.com. It's just swagtastic. I got a lot planned. Doing a lot of editing, just sitting down, also kind of getting things situated with games. We are, if you're a big gamer like me, you kind of realize that there's been a bit of a drought lately. It's not really much to play. That normally means that I'll end up just downloading a bunch of random games and playing them again. So hopefully that means there will be tons of footage of stuff coming to the channel. Like, again, old stuff. There's also plenty of playlists to go look at, different videos and stuff if there's not anything being uploaded. So yeah, come hang out. It's a good time.
There it is. Mr. Swagtastic on YouTube. Go check him out. I am, of course, Antonio Padilla. You can find me on all social media at Tron Pilgrim or at Tron Pilgrim 87. I do want to mention real quick before we wrap it up. We might have an on-off schedule over the next couple of weeks because we are cooking up something spooky for the Halloween season here. I'm not going to say too much about it right now, but just know that we are at least hoping to create something really special for all of you this year for Halloween. It's not going to be the regular podcast, the regular show that we normally do. This is going to be something different, something entirely different. So we're getting ready to start focusing our efforts onto that over the next couple of weeks so that we can have it ready for you before Halloween. So, we might be on and off every once in a while, but that's just because we're working on something big for you guys. So that's just a little heads up. But yeah, and if at any point during this video you enjoyed our content, please do us a favor and give us a like rating. Costs you nothing, helps us out a lot, and please subscribe to this channel. Hit that bell notification to get notified whenever new episodes go up. If you're watching us, you are watching us on YouTube, Nerds of the Round Table. If you're listening to us, you are listening to us on anchor.fm/nerds or on Spotify, Google Podcast, Apple Podcast, anywhere podcasts are available. Don't forget to like Nerds of the Roundtable on Facebook, facebook.com/Real Nerds of the Roundtable. You can follow us on Twitter @RealNerds_. That's going to do it for us this week, ladies and gentlemen. Join us next time, same nerd time, same nerd channel. Swag, I know they can't see you, but cue that out.
Yeah.
Everyone know he flipped out of the chair.
Yeah, I did.